Welcome to Mayhem cedh, where questionable decks meet questionable pilots. For this week, we're trying something a little different. What if every commander had partner? We've got some wacky builds and some miserable builds. With that being said, let's check out the pod today. First, we have Josh on Nora Ephara Value Town, a control deck that seeks to utilize Norin and Ephara for a powerful draw engine and win with a combo. Jack on Winota Sakashima Double Trouble, a stacks deck that seeks to slow down the table and win with double the Winota triggers. Pilch on Prossh Stacks Chain, a boomer build that seeks to utilize two powerful commanders of the past to set up a food chain line. And finally, Cole on Tasigur Kibo Banana, a control deck that seeks to utilize its commanders for card advantage, beatdown, and ramp to win with a combo. And now, with each pilot in their respective corner of the screen, let us begin. And for those of you in the Ames area, stick around to find out how you can get 10% off your next Mayhem Ames purchase. Pilch draws, plays a Wooded Foothills, and cracks it, paying a life and fetching up a Savannah onto the battlefield. He casts an Esper Sentinel. In response, Josh pays 2 life to cast Mental Misstep, countering Sentinel. Bummed out, Pilch passes. Cole draws, plays an Exotic Orchard, a Mana Vault, and passes. Josh draws, plays a Mana Confluence, and casts his commander, Norin the Wary. Okay, hold on. Before we continue, let's explain Norin the Wary. So, whenever a player casts a spell or attacks, Norin exiles himself and comes back at the end of turn. For your sanity and mine, mostly mine, I am not going to say every time Norin disappears and reappears. So, whenever a player casts a spell or attacks and Norin vanishes for the turn, that's what's happening. Good? Good. Continue. Josh passes. Jack draws, plays an Exotic Orchard, a Ragavan Nimble Pilferer, and passes. Pilch draws, plays a Tropical Island, a Soul Ring, and an Eidolon of Rhetoric. Pilch passes. Cole draws and plays an Overgrown Tomb untapped, paying 2 life. He casts his commander, Kibo, Uktabi Prince, and passes. Josh draws, plays an Ancient Tomb, and Candlekeep Sage. Okay, pause again. So, Candlekeep Sage makes it so when your commander enters or leaves the battlefield, you draw a card. So, now, whenever someone casts a spell or attacks, Norin leaves, Josh draws a card, and then Norin comes back to the end step with Josh drawing another card. You see why I want to shortcut Norin now? Josh passes. Jack draws and moves to combat, tagging Josh with Ragavan. Josh takes the hit, Jack creates a treasure, and exiles the top card of Josh's library, which is a Mox Opal. In his second main phase, he casts Mox Opal, plays a Marsh Flats, and passes. Pilch draws and plays a Polluted Delta, cracking it, paying a life, and fetching up a Tundra onto the battlefield. He plays a Grand Abolisher and passes. Cole draws, plays an Ancient Tomb.
Alright boys, everyone make a banana.
See you guys win an added blue.
Banana! Everyone, banana!
He follows it up with a Culling Ritual. Everyone sacrifices their bananas, treasures, and floats mana, giving Kibo 3 +1/+1 counters. Then, Culling Ritual resolves, Kibo gets 2 more +1/+1 counters, Cole adds 5 black mana he can't do anything with due to Rule of Law, and before mana fades, Jack channels Sokenzan, Crucible of Defiance, creating 2 1/1 spirits. The turn moves to Josh. Josh draws and casts his other commander, Ephara, God of the Polis. Okay, so I didn't know what Josh was bringing, alright? Ephara reads that at each upkeep, if another creature entered under Josh's control, he draws a card. So now, because I didn't look at his list and think, maybe not a good deck for camera, when a spell is cast or a player attacks, Norin exiles himself, drawing a card through Candlekeep, comes back at end step, drawing a card again through Candlekeep, and then Josh draws at the next upkeep from Ephara. Why not? Anyways, at the end of turn, Jack cracks his Marsh Flats, paying a life and fetching up a Tundra onto the battlefield. The turn moves to Jack. Jack draws, plays a Polluted Delta, a Dockside Extortionist, creating 3 treasures when it enters, and passes. Pilch draws, plays a Badlands, an Academy Rector, and passes. Cole draws, plays an Underground Sea, and transmutes Muddle the Mixture, fetching up an Abrupt Decay into his hand. He activates Kibo, giving everyone a banana, and casts Abrupt Decay, targeting Candlekeep Sage.
Yeah, it can't be countered anyway.
What? Could Deflecting Swat it?
Oh! Yeah! Oh, we're Deflecting Swat too.
Josh redirects Abrupt Decay to Eidolon of Rhetoric, destroying it, and at the end of turn, Jack cracks his Polluted Delta, paying a life and fetching up a Volcanic Island onto the battlefield. The turn moves to Josh. Josh draws, plays a Flooded Strand, a Mana Vault, and cracks Flooded Strand, paying a life and fetching up a Volcanic Island onto the battlefield. He casts Rhystic Study. In response, Cole casts Fierce Guardianship, countering Rhystic. Josh passes. Jack draws and cracks his treasures and banana to cast his commander, Winota, Joiner of Forces, giving Kibo 4 +1/+1 counters. Before combat, Josh casts Path to Exile, targeting Winota. In response, Cole pays 2 life to cast Mental Misstep, targeting Swords. In response, Josh exiles Ponder to help cast Force of Negation, countering Mental Misstep. Then Swords exiles Winota and Jack fetches up a plains onto the battlefield tapped. He continues to combat and attacks Josh with everything. Josh takes the hit, and in his second main phase, Jack casts Skyclave Apparition, finally exiling Candlekeep Sage. Jack passes. Evan draws, plays an Archon of Emeria, and passes. Cole draws, plays a Verdant Catacombs, and delves some of his graveyard to help cast his other commander, Tasigur the Golden Fang. Cole passes. Josh draws, plays a command tower, and cracks his banana to help channel Otawara's Soaring City, giving Kibo a +1/+1 counter and bouncing Academy Rector to Pilch's hand. He follows it up with a Supreme Verdict, and in response, Cole cracks his Verdant Catacombs, paying a life and fetching up a tropical island onto the battlefield. He activates Tasigur, targeting Pilch, milling the top 2. Pilch gives him Fierce Guardianship, Cole activates Kibo, giving everyone a banana, and Supreme Verdict finally resolves, destroying all creatures, with Josh creating a 3/3 illusion. He follows it up with a Dragon's Rage Channeler and passes. Jack draws, plays a Flooded Strand, and cracks it, paying a life and fetching up a plateau onto the battlefield. He plays a Goblin Rabble Master and...
Great news, Archon of Emeria.
He moves to combat, creating a 1/1 Goblin and attacks Josh with the token. Josh blocks with the illusion, and Jack passes. Pilch draws, recasts Academy Rector, and passes. Cole draws and puts a Steam Vents into play untapped, paying 2 life, recasts his commander, Kibo, Uktabi Prince, and passes.
He's drawn 50-something cards.
Can we?
He hasn't played any spells. He hasn't done anything.
He has no rules, no boundaries. He doesn't flinch in torture.
Josh draws, plays a Training Center, a Mox Amber surveilling through Channeler, and moves to combat, attacking Cole with Channeler. Cole takes the hit, and Josh passes. Jack draws and plays Spirit of the Labyrinth. He moves to combat, creating a Goblin through Rabble Master, attacking Josh with the Goblin and Archon. Josh blocks the Goblin with the illusion, takes the rest, and at the end of turn, Josh casts Mystical Tutor. In response, Cole casts Swan Song, countering Tutor and giving Josh a 2/2 bird. The turn moves to Pilch. Pilch draws, plays a Bayou, and casts his commander, Sir the Enchanter, and passes. Cole draws and casts Windfall. In response, Josh casts Pyroblast, surveilling through Channeler, destroying Zur. Then, everyone discards their hand and draws a card, with Josh drawing none, both due to Spirit of the Labyrinth. Cole passes. Josh draws, plays a Felwar Stone, surveilling through Channeler, and moves to combat, attacking Cole with Channeler. Cole takes the hit, and Josh passes. Jack draws, plays all Seed of Life's Bounty, and moves to combat, creating a Goblin through Rabble Master, attacking Josh with the Goblin and Archon. Josh blocks the Goblin with the illusion, takes the rest, and Jack passes. Pilch draws, plays a Mana Crypt, and at the end of turn, Cole activates Kibo, giving everyone a banana. The turn moves to Cole. Cole draws and delves some of his graveyard to recast his commander, Tasigur the Golden Fang, and passes. Josh draws and casts Impact Tremors, surveilling through Channeler. In response, Cole activates Tasigur, targeting Pilch, milling 2 and returning Fierce Guardianship from his graveyard to his hand. He casts Fierce Guardianship, countering Tremors. Thwarted, Josh moves to combat and attacks Cole with Channeler. Cole takes the hit and Josh passes. Jack draws, plays a Sea of Clouds, and recasts his commander, Winota, Joiner of Forces. In response, Josh hard casts a Mindbreak Trap, targeting Winota. In response...
I'm gonna make a banana.
We're gonna let Winota resolve?
I'm gonna sack the banana, gain 3 life, and activate Tasigur.
You have become a menace.
Pilch gives Cole Fierce Guardianship, which he immediately casts, countering Mindbreak Trap. Then, to Jack's delight, Winota resolves. He moves to combat, creating a Goblin through Rabble Master, and attacks Josh with everything. Winota triggers 5 times.
Blade Historian.
Oh! Okay.
I've made a mistake.
Really? Shocker! I'm gonna whiff on trigger 2.
Darn, if only you had 3 more.
He puts Miria, Shield of Argive, into play, tapped and attacking Josh.
Rick, Steadfast Leader.
Okay, now we might all be dead.
He puts Rick, Steadfast Leader, into play, choosing Vigilance and Lifelink when it enters, tapped and attacking Josh, and a Ranger Captain of Vios, fetching up a Hope of Girapur into his hand when it enters, tapped and attacking Josh. Josh takes the hit and dies. Jack passes. At the beginning of his upkeep, Pilch loses his Mana Crypt trigger. He draws...
That's politics,
God, are you hard
baby.
casting Prossh?
Yeah, I know.
It's Prossh. Let it go.
Pilch creates 6 Kobolds when Prossh enters. He sacrifices Academy Rector to Prossh, fetching up a Pattern of Rebirth onto the battlefield, equipped to a Kobold. He sacrifices the Kobold to Prossh.
Right?
I could have stopped this.
Yeah, that's why I let it Winota do its thing.
Yeah, I know.
I was just gambling
Thank
that he didn't put a Name in Mind Sunserum back into play.
Pilch fetches up a Protean Hulk onto the battlefield and immediately sacrifices it to Prossh, fetching up a Safi Eriksdottir, activated Sleeper entering as a copy of Protean Hulk, and Viscera Seer. He sacrifices Safi, targeting Sleeper, and sacrifices Sleeper to Prossh, returning to the battlefield as a copy of Protean Hulk through Safi, fetching up a Karmic Guide to the battlefield, returning Safi to the battlefield when it enters. He sacrifices Sleeper to Prossh one last time, fetching up Ellis Ilkor, Sadistic Pilgrim. Then,
So then I like to sacrifice Sappy, Arden Karmic Guide.
Okay.
Sacrifice Karmic Guide, comes back, returns Sappy. Each of these die, draining you for 1.
the table sees the writing on the wall, and Pilch wins the game. For those of you in the Ames area who stuck around, come to Mayhem Comics and Ames this week and ask for the YouTube discount. You'll be asked the question, who won? Answer correctly and get 10% off your purchase. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to catch future videos, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.